Folks, it's Friday. Friday stands with F, starts with F, just like frustration.
What?
Well, because we went and had, for years, years and years and years ago, many years ago, I had an Italian sandwich in New York when we were back east one particular time.
It was in White Plains. If anybody.
And it was like a sandwich that was made at, like, what was that place? It was like a smoke shop or something, wasn't it? It was like almost like a convenience store.
Yeah, and it was right next to the hair salon. I'm trying to remember if it was in White Plains or Valhalla, but I can't.
It was the greatest. It was the greatest sandwich I've ever had. I've never had a better sandwich. It's been driving me crazy for years, and I've been on a lifelong quest to find that sandwich again. And today was
Because of the bread.
Yep, we went to supposedly the best sandwich place in town and got their Italian. And it was a perfectly fine sandwich, but it wasn't what I was looking for. So, F.
Wrist check.
Oh, yes, let's do wrist check. You're wearing the silver pit.
Yep.
What do you like about this watch?
I like that it's a bullhead, and I like the orange.
The orange of the hands. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, cool. I am still wearing my MM300 SBDX001, the OG. I'm amazed how much more I like these watches. The more I own one, I think I've owned 3. This is the third one I've owned. It's the nicest one I've owned. But just the more time that gets between when they were brand new and now, the more I like them. I still find it eye-grabbing. It's just, Seiko did a really good job with this design. And I think it's basically my favorite of the whole aughts period is this one.
SBDX. More than the 007?
I love this watch.
Wow.
I really do. Okay. Well, okay.
Okay. So, from last mail call. Ella Bay forever. Sabrina, we eat peanut butter in Australia, but peanut butter and jelly sandwiches aren't really a thing here. Spencer is on the money about Vegemite, but Promite runs rings around Vegemite for flavor IMHO.
I have never heard of Promite.
Mm-mm.
That's if you want to tell me what that is, or we can look it up, I'd be curious what Promite is. Vegemite is what, some kind of a yeast extract?
I've never had it. They sell it at the cupboard. I know that. The grocery store sells Marmite sometimes, but not Vegemite.
Yeah, whatever the difference might be. I probably just offended someone terribly. Someone's. I don't know what the difference is. I have no idea. One time in my life, I have a step-niece who's, she's English, and she once made Marmite toast for me, and it seemed to me that for the most part, her process for making Marmite toast was to use as little Marmite as possible.
I think I've read that one of the Marmite versus Vegemite one is more strongly flavored.
I remember it as being really salty.
I think Marmite's supposed to be the more strongly flavored one, but I don't know. I'm sure bajillion other people can answer that question.
Well, maybe we should try it.
Well, then we have to go back to town. Unless we order on the internet.
Well, we are going to go back to town at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's going to be, I'm sure people are going to have some thoughts and feelings about that one. So if you want to weigh in on Marmite versus Vegemite and the correct way to eat them, let us know.
Francis Palmer 9737. Hi, Spencer and Sabrina. Thank you for answering my question on the beads of rice bracelet. I have one more question for you. I have a 1968 Seiko 6106B 8069 17 jewel automatic DX with the day and date on the opposite side of the linen dial. I have a problem with the balance and was wondering if I could use a balance from a 6106A or C, as they only made the B for 1 year in 68, I believe, and I'm having a hard time finding a 6106B balance.
6106 A, B, and C, 6119 A, B, and C, 6309. A 6309 balance and arm will drop right in. So that's, even with the different sorts of adjusters and everything, the part is it's not the same part number, but if you swap over the whole thing, balance cock and the wheel and everything, even a 6309 will work. So, I mean, the only differences between any of them, 6119 and 6106, is that more often than not, the 6119s have orange lettering. Some of the 6106s do, but only if they're the 25 joules. You can get differences if the balance cock has an exterior bevel or if it's just a squared off edge, depending on how, what period the movement was made in. So, I don't know. So, yes, long story short, you certainly can. You've got a lot of options out there for you because Seiko stayed with that particular balance part for a really long time.
That's really surprising.
And they used even more so the staff, which is the thing the wheel is built on, the balance wheel is built on, goes to even more.
Joseph Stewart, hey Sabrina, the Bluey question. Over here we call it peanut butter and jam sandwiches, not jelly. Ain't it funny? Both my little girls love to watch Bluey and eat peanut butter and jam sangdangs, Bluey for sandwiches. I watched Bluey this morning.
Did you?
Yeah. Sebastian's back on the Bluey train.
There was a thing on Reddit, and it was a millennial parent starter pack. And one of the things was, sometimes I watch Bluey by myself.
I do not. Sadie does.
Really?
Yeah, she thinks it's funny.
Well, it is funny, actually. I haven't watched Bluey on my own, but I've stood there with my arms crossed and watched Bluey. I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's a more interesting show than Peppa.
I agree. Not as whiny.
Definitely not as whiny, and I think, I don't know, it seems like a more...
we got years of wah from Willow because of freaking Peppa.
And George.
Well, no, I'm saying Peppa the show, George the
character. Yes, it's true.
Okay, now to the watch part. On the 7C432 second skip, 20-minute time gain,
Is this still Joseph Stewart?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You can...
Sorry.
That's okay. No, go ahead.
Okay, still from Joseph Stewart. On the 7C432 second skip 20-min time gain, I will do the time-lapse video and get back to you with my results.
I really am very, very curious about that. I can see it in my head, like what it would look like if it's moving ahead. I've never heard of it before, so it's I'm actually really curious to see what results you get, and I'm very curious about what you come up with. So, when you get the time to do it, and I'll certainly appreciate it very much.
Sidewalk Astronomy Netherlands. The Dutch eat peanut butter, but not with jelly. You can put sugar syrup on it, or honey on the peanut butter, or sambal oelek. If I wanted to pronounce it like a dumb Northeasterner, I'd call it sambal oelek. But first eat your bread with old Gouda before you eat sugar stuff on your bread. Talking to Americans.
Yeah, no.
Don't put sugar stuff on your bread.
Yeah, we put sugar stuff on everything.
Yes. Peanut butter goes on a slice of good brown health bread. Hey, I like brown health bread. I like bread. German or Dutch bread?
How is Dutch bread different than German bread?
Yeah, what's the deal with your bread?
Yeah, well, okay, so the only thing when I think German bread, I don't know, sometimes I think about, what Dad used to have, that old really heavy, dense, black bread that I always used to think of as German bread. I have no concept of what Dutch bread might be about.
Or you can use the peanut butter to make satay sauce to put on satay ayam and other meat on sticks Indonesian style. When I've made Thai food, I've used peanut butter in the sauce. So I knew that Southeast Asian cuisine. Sorry, I need to stop poking this.
she's making a cat. It's her art project, and she's made it out of a particular kind of concrete, and so it's all together and it's cat shaped. And now she's mosaicing the outside of it, and so she's really focused on mosaicing. And so she's looking at it while she's.
I know it shouldn't be here.
Well, you're just gonna have to try to be good.
I know.
If I had a towel, I'd drape a towel over it.
Nope.
Then you wouldn't have to look at it. I can put a hoodie over it.
It was funny the other night. Kraken was standing like right next to it, and I'm like, "Hey, I modeled it after her body perfectly."
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And it's funny, like when she first came in, when the first time she saw it, and she was like, "What are you?" And I looked, and I was like, "Yeah, you did a really, decent job, sort of capturing her sort of body and the way she hangs out."
Mattlebot, 4942. Hello from Maryland, or Maryland, Spencer and Sabrina. Hoping this message finds you and yours doing well and enjoying life. I got a haircut, so I am enjoying life.
And I got a sandwich that wasn't all that it could have been. I don't want to. It was a perfectly fine sandwich. It's not the sandwich's fault that I had a different thing in my mind, a different conception of what I was looking for than what I got. The sandwich by itself is perfectly fine. It did everything that a sandwich was supposed to do.
We need to do what you told me the barber guy said that I screwed up with, but whatever. And we have to go to Steamboat. And because apparently the water in Steamboat is the same kind of minerals as the part of New York I'm from. And the bread is good. Yeah. So he said. The guy's a state trooper.
Yeah, he's a state trooper originally from New York, so we're supposed to go there and do that, and that's what we're going to need to do.
Right, we were going to do that, but then we ended up going to Fairplay, and then we just realized that South Park is supposed to be
Fairplay.
Yes.
Which we didn't know. I didn't know.
But there's a South Park store, and it says South Park County in the place, but I don't know.
I had absolutely no idea. Ooh. Tell them about your Casa Bonita story.
Oh, God. Okay. So, because we signed up and went there super early, before they were even open to the public, I'm part of the Founders Club, and I'm going to get a card in a credit card, fake one, in the mail and stuff. And that meant that I could get...
you could sign up for spots.
Yes, for spots before the general public opened at 9 a.m. I went and got in line at, it was 8:57, which apparently you could get in line before then. I was 7,000 in line. And I was like, God damn it, I got an hour. So I was messing with my cat mosaic. And then I looked and I lost my spot. So remember, I think it was 7,800 maybe or something. But then I get back in line again, I'm 42,000. And those are just the founder people, not the public.
Just the founder people, and the queue ended long before it ran out of people. So, if you want to go to Casa Bonita, you gotta get in line early.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, and then he said that he enjoys watching us because of the dance we do, which we just did.
I wasn't all fired up about necessarily going back to Casa Bonita soon, but now I'm
it's they do it for 2 months. They have reservations for 2 months. So for December and January, I will get in line right away.
Can you imagine that? You have a restaurant that's so popular that you sell out all possible seatings for the next following months. They're all reserved. You're done. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. And people are going to go there. And if they've never been before, it's a frenetic experience. It's really, really frenetic. But I don't know. Now that we know that we were there in the very early special soft open time, we're even more sure that it was Matt himself.
No, Trey.
It was Trey himself doing the puppet show.
Yes. It absolutely was.
It was, the person was speaking live.
Yeah, it was I thought it was a recording because the person sounded just like any number of South Park characters, but then a little girl started walking up to...
A toddler.
Yeah, and he was like, hello, little girl, and I was like,
And I was sitting there because Sebastian wouldn't want to sit down and watch the puppet show. And I'm listening to the storyteller doing the puppet show. And I'm like, man, that sounds just like him. I'm like, I sure hope this isn't going to be one of these things where I find out after the fact that it was really him.
I'm fairly certain it was.
Hello, little girl. Nuts. Anyway.
All right. Now for his question. I am more of a German watch person. Think A lange und Sonne. I do my Duolingo.
You did. That was really good.
Well, I've been doing German on Duolingo for over 2 years now. I finally know more than him.
There is no finally. She's known a lot more than me for a long time. My German is now and always was execrable.
What offerings, if any, has Seiko had that are purely mechanical with the highest accuracy?
Well, the 4500 high beats from the late 60s, early 70s, the Grand Seikos, those things, hand winders, and especially, being date only, being no date, you get the no date version, which is 5400, 5402, I believe. And they are, they're 36,000 BPH, and they're just tight. The movement quality is excellent. Really, 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 really nice. And those in good condition are absolutely going to be magnificently accurate. And you can still get those for not a ton of money. You really don't have to pay a lot. And my recommendation is look for ones that either the stainless or look for gold cap. Because people don't like the gold cap ones because they think it's the same as plated. But gold cap isn't base metal. It's not like if it's plated, it's base metal with this non-gold fake gold plating on top of it. Gold cap, the case is there. It's stainless steel, and then it literally has sheet gold over the top.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it's one of these crazy things. And so as a result, people don't wear them as long because they don't like the way it looks. They don't sell for as much money because people don't like gold watches right now, which means you can get an excellent watch starting point for less money than you would normally, and it's got actual gold on it. Gold cap. So that's what I'd say. One of the 4500 Grand Seikos. That's what you ought to do.
Gareth Brennan, my 2XL. Hello, Spencer and Sabrina. This isn't so much a Seiko question, but it is a watch question in general, and I know Spencer has a Rolex in his collection, so it might be relevant for your channel. I recently learned that Rolex did their first dive watch tests in Lake Geneva to a depth of 70 meters, and it got me thinking, would 70 meter of pressure be the same in a lake and, for example, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? And I'm also curious if the Rolex benchmark was the reason for the early Seikos with the branding 70-meter waterproof. On
the second point, it could well be. I've never heard that. That's very interesting. And Rolex would have done that with lead gaskets, I think. Because they didn't even use cork or anything else like that, or leather, because of course leather is water absorbent even if you oiled the hell out of it, but they used to make seals gaskets out of lead. Maybe. Does anybody know the answer to that question?
And our physics question about water pressure.
I think water pressure is water pressure is water pressure, unless you are having agitation around the watch, which has spikes of pressure. If you have pressure waves coming, maybe that's something different if the water's calmer, but as far as I know, water is water is
I'm
water.
sure somebody will tell us.
I hope. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have to go get the boy soon.
Mm-hmm. So.
Okay, and we're back.
For JCB, Seiko H558 5000 Arnie restoration.
That's the name of the video?
Yes.
Okay, so it's about Arnie H558.
From Stevest Martin. I need the plastic bevel that you said was like glass. Mine has a section broken. Are there replacements available?
There are remakes that have been on eBay. They look really good. They're not perfect, but they're more than usable. And seeing the originals, once they start breaking, they'll just continue to shatter. It's a total materials failure, and they'll just break and break. You can sit there and just just turn them into dust with your hands. You can just easily just shatter them, crumble them to pieces. It's crazy. I would hope that they're still available on eBay. If they're not, I don't have a secondary recommendation. Anybody else?
Next video.
So this is the next video. Okay.
Spotter's Guide. What is and isn't a true Pogue 6139 6005? Antique excavator. I just won a 1977 6139 6005 blue Pogue at auction. Although not a true Pogue, I love it and can't wait to service and wear it. That's for the education. It's one of the things I love about watch collecting. I'm a naturally very mechanically inclined and recently was lucky enough to find a complete watchmaker's desk loaded with high-end tools, Bergeron, etc. I've been watching a lot of videos and really getting a knack at repair. It will definitely be my hobby when I finally retire in a few years. Well, that's my plan. Of course, men plan, God laughs. So you never know. My grandma used to say that in Yiddish when I was a young boy. I now have it tattooed on my back. Anyway, love your stuff.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You know, the nice thing is that working on watches is, you know, you get to wrench, right? You get to restore a machine. It's like working on a car or something else like this. But if you drop, you know, a main wheel from a watch on your ankle, you're not going to break your ankle, which is nice. You're not liable to crush anything. I think the most danger you can get into working on watches is if the mainspring gets away from you and unwraps quickly. I remember a long time I had a mainspring get away from me, and it actually whacked off of my off my visor, and I was like, that would have been, because there's no safety squints that would have protected me from a quickly unwrapping mainspring. So it's not all safety, but it's
compared to working on a car.
Compared to working on a car, compared to working on a green bean. Oh, I was just going to say, but it's a fun hobby, and the great thing is there's just a ton to learn.
Steve Grant 8797. My comment might go unseen as this is a very old YouTube, but here goes anyway. Your comment was seen.
No, I see every
I
comment.
don't see everyone. I don't look.
So yeah, the age of the video doesn't matter. I look at the age of the comments. So if you make a new comment on an old video, here we are.
I have a 6139 6005 and I'm in the UK. I got this from a watch shop owner who took it in the day before my dropping in on him. I am assuming the reason it's a 6005 is because as we are just a few miles from Upper Hayford, I guess it was here from near new and owned by a US Air Force guy. It must have stayed on UK soil for whatever reason. It's in nice condition and still has strong yellow to the dial ring, serviced but with a new crystal though, and the serial is also September 71. I wonder what Pogue's actual number was and how far from mine it might be.
Pogue's actual serial number is, and I went and confirmed this, is... No, it was on the other... 190095. No, I didn't. That's
no,
not...
I'm looking at what he drew. Is it a shipwreck or is it a playground falling apart?
I'm not entirely sure what that is.
Oh, and he's learning.
190. Where is that? Oh, it's right there. See, now I've said the number so many times that I'm starting to get confused. 190945. 190945. I've owned, you just don't see September 1971 very often. You really don't. I've owned one. I owned one that was like, it was in the 2,700 range past his. I think the closest I've seen to him that I can ever remember was a few hundred units away, but that might have actually been a blue Pogue. I don't know. They're just not many were made in September. I'm not sure why, and it makes finding that, that elusive close match to his even harder. I see a lot of them from March. I see a lot from June. I see November. I see February of 72, not really April of 72. So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I don't think they made a consistent amount of watches every single month based on my observations. And September is one of those off ones. It's just what I think.
Another video. Seiko's vintage 6139 6000X bracelets, including the chiclet.
Oh, okay.
Wingy 7722. Would you please be able to do a video on the really early bracelet that came with the JDM 6139 6000 5 sports notched case speed timers? I just acquired an archaic 1970 example that came with no bracelet, and although one had was missing some lume, and the crystal is a little scuffed. Everything functions well and keeps excellent time with long-lasting power reserve. I have obtained an aftermarket strap that appears to look like the original, but I've never seen an original in the flesh. P.S. I'm learning lots by watching your videos.
I hope you're learning good stuff by watching the video. Let's. Those bracelets are an early. They're like a taper bracelet. I think of them as like a strap bracelet because they've got big taper links on them that have a weird, like, it has a center connection, but then also these asymmetric like strap connections. It's a Stellux design, which means that the end links have the hidden connector, which the Stellux end links, you can never get them to sit down right. They'll never hold on. They don't have a way. They don't have a way to hold on to the spring bars. They use the bracelet itself to create pressure to hold it to the case, which just kind of never works. I don't know. I can put in a segment. This is always fun for me to do because I have to do it on my laptop, and then I have to, because for some reason Apple products will talk to each other. It's hours of waiting and back and forth work to try to get a video from my computer to my phone, which is where I actually put the videos together, is inside my phone. So it's an extraordinary pain in the ass, which is not your fault, but it certainly is Apple's fault. But I can put together a little quicko thingy.
So here we are. This is the JDM catalog number 2, and this is that taper bracelet. You can see it's got the hidden lug. There's no connector here that you can see. Rolled edge, leading edge on the end links are rolled, and there's no, you don't see this connection at all. It's a really weird setup that doesn't, it was kind of rattly and jangly, and it was one of the few bracelets that Stellux made that just didn't work. It's got this slot here, and then these weird like strap things. I don't know. I mean, it has a very particular look. It's a bummer that it doesn't work correctly. I mean, I have one of these watches, like this exact model, that doesn't have the original bracelet, and it just feels incomplete. I've never even considered restoring it because I don't have the original bracelet for it. I wonder if they make an aftermarket. Let's see, 56, let's see, 6106, 6139, let's see, let's go down here, like that. Oh, got some Grand Seiko action going on. Oh wait, I was supposed to look for this. Sorry, I got distracted. 25, 61, 51. Yeah, there you can see this again with this odd connector here and these straps. Here it is in the gold. It's just like, you look at this, even the catalog pictures, they can't get the end links to settle down. There's a rare bracelet. This is the Seiko reissued this model, but they got the bracelet wrong. I wish they'd reissued this bracelet. That'd be nice. That's a really, really nice bracelet. I can't remember when the last time was I saw one of these bracelets. I own one of these watches. In fact, I think I own this whole setup. I could get that done. if ever I thought of it. Well, in any case, there it is. What is that sweep hand? The heck is that sweep hand? Huh. It's got a smaller boss than this over here. That's kind of strange looking. That's kind of funky. See, look, it's supposed to be silver in the middle, like having the two-part hand. Supposed to, damn it. It's supposed to be like this, where you can barely see the color of the hand, and then it's got this basically just a silver boss in the middle. It's not, I've never seen a hand like that. And it's short? If I saw this watch with this hand, I would assume that it was some kind of like non-Seiko service replacement. Isn't that the strangest thing? I've never seen a hand like that on a 6139. Doesn't even look like a Seiko hand to me. That's crazy.
Well, let me see.
Right there, the red center hand.
Oh, yeah.
Looks weird. Well, anyway.
And our last question.
4MO, Seiko 6139, 6005, True Pogue Restoration. Mark Rosenberg, 7959. What does it mean if the mainspring is coned?
I didn't speak distinctly. The word is coned in this case. It sounds like combed, so don't worry about that. Like the mainspring, instead of being completely flat and in plane, is more of a twiggle spiral where it goes out to one side, and so that it comes from asymmetric wear and being pulled all the time. And what it does is it sucks off all kinds of power from the mainspring. It also eats away at the mainspring barrel itself. That mainspring also, it had this sort of washboard feel to it, which they get when they've been really worked a lot. It's sort of this perfect storm of bad mainspringism, and that's when you see it. Sometimes I can tune a cone out of a mainspring. I mean, you just kind of redirect it and turn it. That one was really bad though, and I ended up actually it was too bad to. It was bad. So that's coned. That's what I call it.
Oh, it's not a technical term?
I don't know. Probably not. I don't know what actual watchsmiths call it.
I don't know.
No idea. Okay. Folks, that's it for this Friday edition, and I thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you very much taking the time out of your day to watch us do our thing and talk and all that kind of stuff. And don't think that we don't appreciate it, because we do. Okay? That's it. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.